Anyone, if you come in, I'm gonna use the other phone so I can see chat. I'm just putting on some tomato plants. The pots are a little bit small, so we're going bigger. That's all, hear my own voice. I use these grow bags, but I also, the rain's gonna come as well. I don't plant them directly into them. I put them on. It just saves on bags because I put a lot of plants in. Hi, Fumi. We're just filling the bags up, put the pots up out of the bag. I'm getting my tomato plants out. This one is already flowering, if you can see. And gently just turn it upside down. Loosen the roots off. And then stick them in. That's a bit too much in there. There we go. And then just pack them in. Hi Christine, hi Carpin, Vicky, my friend. Oh, Basil, hi. Good files. Yeah, they're doing really well. Our growing season isn't as good as yours, and they take longer. These ones are rainbow tomatoes. They're little plum tomatoes, and they'll come out either orange, red, or yellow. And surprisingly, it's the yellow ones that are the sweetest. So I'm looking forward to those. Christine, I'm a little bit behind, so although these plants are doing okay, put them in these trays and water them from underneath. These trays I'll probably put extra, if there's any more potting soil left, I'll probably put it in the bottom and just water through that. Always water through the bottom of the tomatoes. Hi Koya, how are you? Hi John, nice to see you. Yes, Christine, if you leave me a comment, I'll give you my email address. This one, the roots are actually coming out the bottom already. So, these bigger ones, my dad planted. I've got some plum tomatoes in, but they're a million miles behind. And these tiny little cherry tomatoes came from a local store. They're in tiny pots, and the plants are tiny, but they're covered in flowers, and they've got cherry tomatoes on them. So hopefully, in a bigger pot, they'll take off. I'll show you one. Like this little one, it's already got tomatoes on, but it came in a pot this size. Even this little tiny one, you can see it's got a tomato on, which I'm kind of surprised about, but hey. So these ones are trying to bush. I don't know if everybody else, oh, hey Patty, thanks for coming. For our tomatoes, we don't let them bush. We cut the side stems as they come out, so you get one straight vine. Hi Rhonda. Hi Kathy, how you doing? So you get one tall, strong stem, and you get strong vines from those. I don't know if many people do that, or if that's just a UK thing, or like a family thing. Like, oh, let's go back. Shoot. This one, you can see its sides are starting to throw out shoots. So I've always cut those off as they come. They grow the whole season out. I have let them bush before and they've still thrown out plenty of tomatoes, but it's just the way we do it. You get really long, strong vines with cutting the side stems out. Rhonda, have you put that video up yet of the snapping turtle? I haven't seen it yet. I think I would have a heart attack and leg it if it snapped at me. We don't have anything as exciting as snapping turtles. Right, next one. We'll do a little one. These grow bags have got all the vitamins and minerals they need in them. Last year I just used regular compost, and the tomatoes themselves, they were getting rot spots, flower rot. And I read up it's a lack of calcium. So where is it? I bought, maybe I'll see it, some calcium to add to the food, but the ones that weren't getting the flower rot, they didn't have any taste to them really. They weren't very good, so I had a bit of a crappy tomato season last year. And it just shows you. Hey Argument, how you doing? Miss Southern Belle. I'm getting down and dirty in the greenhouse. My tomatoes need some love. Hi, can I write? Right, next one. We'll do that very tiny one. And I'm surprised that it's got tomatoes on, but it's got a few flowers. So we'll see how it does. Cute though. And it only cost £1. So the prices here are just crazy. And £1 on a plant that will give you lots and lots of fruit, hopefully. It's a lot better than buying the fruit already grown. So we'll put that one over there for now. Next one, we'll do another big one. It's gonna absolutely chuck it down. It's May, but we're getting the April showers still. Then it was torrential before. I was going to go out for a walk and film. But I thought, no, not happening. This one's really well rooted. It's pretty root bound in that pot. Just as well it's going in a bigger one. Oh, still might let out. There we go. I haven't put any cucumbers in this year actually. I've got squash on the go, and I had some soybeans, dry soybeans, so I thought, you know what, I'll stick some in a pot, see if I can grow them, and they've grown. So now I've got I'm going to have soybeans, they're edamame beans that you have to cook them all, they're like a little pea pod. So, and they're really nice, they're really tasty, so we'll have those for the summer. Ooh. Compost all over my phone. Hi Peter, how you doing? Great, you alright? Hi Shady. Brilliant, Christine. I'll get back in touch with you, Christine. Oh, sorry Peter, somehow I've managed with a piece of compost to delete one of your comments. Compost all over my phone in my hand. You alright, Akash? Oh, I love the garden. I've got so much to do though. I cut the grass. Oh god, the end of last week and it already needs cut again. And it's not a small undertaking here. Cheep cheep, shut up. You can hear me talking over here, he's shouting me. He managed to unlock his gate last night and little Bod found him sat on the roof. She said, Mum, there's a chicken on the roof. I was like, nah, she can't be right. Hi Harry, how you doing? Peter, yes, the one that escaped and was sat on the roof last night. But I still haven't caught him unlocking and opening that gate. I could maybe set a camera up in here and just point it at the pen and catch him doing it. But he's sneaky. Normally he comes straight down to the house looking for me to go play. But last night he just got on the roof. And he fell off walking along the roof trying to get down to sit on my shoulder. And he's a bit big to sit on your shoulder. He weighs a ton. How's things with you, Harry? Oh, on with these little cherry tomatoes. I'll show you the soybean plants. When they started growing, I thought, what am I going to do with them? Didn't have a clue. But reading up, they're going to be lovely. Fresh soybeans. And you get a lot off each plant, so. Astro, are you in? Sorry I didn't see you if you are. Hey Astro, how are you? Got a little bit of extra time this afternoon. Little one is at one of her sports clubs after school with Herbie and Paulie. She's just doing half days at school, and after the doctor's appointment yesterday, we knew that her thyroid count was low and that she would be going on thyroid meds. But when they were checking her over, her oxygen levels were dropping down into the 80s. But they were going back up and sitting around about 96. Then I'd asked them to check her heart. She was born with a hole in her heart, which healed itself. A flap of tissue plugged the hole and her heart grew around it, and they couldn't see or hear it anymore. But it was bugging me. And when they checked her heart over, they found a new heart murmur that's not been found before. No one's noted it anywhere. So she's gone back to the heart unit. Yeah, I showed Miss Southern Belle write a story about him on the roof. So she, instead of going to children's ward, which they were thinking we maybe had to, because her symptoms are a lot worse than her thyroid levels should be indicating, to the GP anyway, it was decided that she would start on the thyroid meds now and be referred to the heart unit. So that's what we've done. It's going to take up to 8 weeks for the thyroid meds to start doing their job and get to the right levels. So in 8 weeks she'll have more bloods done, and hopefully that's her thyroid levels up to more normal, and she's not so tired and shaky and falling asleep. The heart centre, the cardiac centre here isn't in my county, it's in the next county, and it's a centre of excellence for the north. It's a really good doctor. I can't see it taking long to get seen by them. So before then, hopefully, we'll get to see the heart doctors and get her scanned and check what's going on with that little heart of hers. Hopefully it's just a blip, but for the foreseeable, she's just doing half days at school, which is working well. She's nowhere near as exhausted as she was. Thanks for coming in, Howie. Hey Sass, how you doing? Show Me Sasquatch is brilliant. If you're not subbed to him, go over to his. He takes us on some lovely places. Peter, yeah, she's got Down syndrome, and like 10% of kids with Downs develop thyroid disease. So it's one of the first things they checked her for. She's got an underactive thyroid, but she's just exhausted, she's pale, she's shaky, she's falling asleep all the time. So, Highland Rose, thanks for coming in. But yeah, if you're not already sold, go get Sassy's brilliant. Rustic, thank you for coming in. Oh, I'm sorry, Peter. What are they saying? Hey, Joel, thank you for coming, my friend. Joel's Choice has got a brilliant channel. You get a lovely warm welcome from Joel, so feel free to sub each other up. I love where Sass takes us on walks. He lives in a beautiful area. But no, that snapping turtle, Rhonda, it looked huge. And that's not the... Is that small for like your normal one? Or is it just for that you're seeing? Sure is, Sass. That woodland where the Roman quarry is, that I've filmed a few times, the feeling of peace and serenity in that wood is out of this world. It's amazing. I could spend hours in there just wandering around, messing around next to the river, and it's filled with so much history. It's lovely to see and just be around. Right, as I was saying before, where have I put my little knife? I think this one's okay. I've got a bit high up on the stem. Let's have a look at you. Right, this one, I'll try and bring it a bit closer without falling over everything. We've got a second stem just here underneath this fruit truss, so I'm going to take that out. And that just gets dumped. It'll grow taller, it'll grow straighter, and we'll get more trusses growing out of it. There's another one there. I wait to start feeding them as well. I don't start feeding them until the first truss is flowered. That's when you start with the feed, and I'll show you the feed I use. Ooh, I've got a couple of volunteer tomatoes growing. I use this one, Tomato Right. I maybe give them too much, but it's all good for them. Start feeding when the second truss is set in soil. Feed every 7 to 14 days. I feed maybe every 5 days. Use 4.5 litres per bag. In the greenhouse twice a week when the second truss is set. So I'm feeding them in, so I'm right, twice a week. But that tomato feed is brilliant. Here, the climate is just rubbish for growing outside. I'll just get those canes. Because you cut off the side shoots, you get very tall plants. Right, string, where are you? I'm looking at that sky and it is not looking happy at all. So, I got my string. Beth, how are you doing? If you want nobody sub to Beth, go and have a look at Beth's. Beth's got a brilliant channel and she's a very talented lady. Beth, yes I am. I'm covered. This is quite good for me. This knife is my favourite tool out of the whole garden, all my tools. I use it for absolutely everything. Everything you can think of, I use it. I even use it for digging and putting seedlings in. Right, this one. Have a look here. There's one side stem, we've got another little one. Strangely, I like this side stem that's coming out. They tend to quickly grow ahead, but this one hasn't. It's more leaves. So, I'll give you a new stake because you're getting big. There you go. And we'll string you on. Last year I had a volunteer tomato plant grow at the back there, and it grew to the height of the greenhouse and all over the top, and it had the most beautiful sweet tomatoes on it ever. So I've saved some seeds from it. You're never guaranteed you're going to get a good plant because they cross-pollinate. But those ones worked out well. Hey Pizza, how you doing? You skiving? Right, that one can go there. Is this even showing on camera? Right, next one. Heck, this big one to bend in half. I'll give this a bigger stake. It's going to be a tall plant. Peter, this tastes so much better when you grow your own. I love it. When I was a kid, I used to hate growing in my granddad's greenhouse because I hated the smell of tomato plants. Absolutely hated it, and he had it ram-packed full of tomatoes. But now, I love it. I kind of got the growing and garden bug from my granddad and my dad. My granddad used to use rabbit tails to fertilise his tomato and cucumber flowers. He would put a rabbit tail on a stick and go and tickle the flowers and pollinate like that. So I've got a shoot growing there, that needs to come out. A shoot coming there. And we've got a truss already growing. And the second one coming at the top. Rhonda rocks. If you aren't sub to Rhonda, go give her a sub. She's brilliant. I love it. And I'm very jealous of the wildlife that Rhonda gets coming in her garden. Do you know what banana plants also do? If it's late in the season and you've got green tomatoes on and they're getting slow to turn red, put your tomatoes in a box with banana peel, and the gas given off by the banana peel fertilizes, makes the tomatoes go red. That little hint came from, oh, got dizzy, but from my grandma, and it does work. So I put green tomatoes when it gets to September, October time in a box wrapped in newspaper with a bit of coconut there, banana peels, and it makes them redden up within a day or two. Oh gosh, I hate having shoes on. I would love going around barefooted. Ooh. Next one. This one, my dad will tell me off because it's not been on its stake and it's growing a tad bent. So I need to try and correct it. A bent stem's no good for anyone. This one's a bit of another mutant. It's got irregular leaf coming out, but it's also got these two sets of leaves. So I'm going to take those off You take anything off the main stem but the flower trusses. I have a habit of leaving the top ones too long, and then I get confused about which is the main stem and which is the shoot coming off the side. There. Oh God. Right, you're gonna have to stay, Brent. I'm gonna have to secure your tyre up. I'll just put that one at the back so my dad doesn't see it. It'll eventually straighten itself. Honestly. Where else have we got? Now this one, is it you? My dad was, oh no, it's there. No, it's not. Using bits of honeysuckle because you get the straight stems. Hey Nature's Best, how you doing? The straight stems from the honeysuckle. He's been using those as canes, and they're sprouting too. So I've got 2 of these. I'm going to keep them in pots because I'm going to have 2 new honeysuckle plants off those stems. I didn't know they did that. Yeah, planted one of those before, too low down. So I've had to lift it a bit. This one has got a side shoot, and that's got to go. And you need a bigger cane. This is going to be one of the taller ones, so you can have a bigger cane. Oh, you've got another side step. One of these bigger ones, I'd let it get an extra head on, so I've worked out which one's the right one, which one's the wrong one to take off. We feed them and water them in the bottom of these. It stops them getting the blight and keeps the plants healthy, so you water from we always water from the roots up. Same with the cucumbers, but I haven't got those in this year. Peter, I was meant to go out today for a wander to film it, but the weather's horrible. It keeps torrential raining, so I am staying in. I'm stuck in the greenhouse. Right, what else have I got? Oh, these are. Hi DJ, you alright? Thanks for coming in. These are some of the beans. I decided I was going to have a go at making soy milk. It's really easy to do. So I've got a giant bag full of beans. I thought, I know, I'll plant some. So I now have these. I split these up and I'm going to plant them where I've got my peas and my garden peas next to a trellis. Now they are bush apparently, but you get a lot of pods, bean pods on these each plant. I think 200 pods or something each plant. So I'm going to have a lot of soya beans, but to eat them fresh they're really nice, but you do have to cook them. So there's about 20 plants maybe in there. But once they started growing I just didn't realise what to do with them. Beth, I know, aren't they terrible? The fronts don't look too bad, but in the back they're full. And then I've got my black squash. I've been clearing out the veg bed for those to go in. I've got those. They're just, oh whoops, you're growing roots out the bottom. They're just a little squash, they're not like pumpkin size. And some more squash. Some are a summer squash, sunburst. Now these are like yellow, like squash disc ones, and they grew really well last year. I think they're them, and I think they might be the black ones. I think. I have a horrible habit of chucking stuff into pots with each other and forgetting what they are. Next, these are interesting. We'll see how they turn out. Oh, you've got really long roots. These are toothache plants. They're a little There's the rain. They're a little plant that grows little yellow and red balls as flowers, like little pom-poms. And they're good. They're good for inflammation, and they'll make your mouth go numb. Buzz plant, they get called, or electric buzz plant. Never heard of them before, so I thought I'd give those a go. And some more little tomatoes that I've tried to taken because they are seeds that are 2 years old. They are Salmazano. I remember what these ones are. These pots are root trainers. You can see that. You get nice long roots and they protect them, and they're so much easier to get out. I use the stand that they come in and the cover. Pick it out. Watch me get soaked with water. I use the cover as a base and I fill that with water. So they've always got the water supply coming in through the bottom. But that's my root training tray. Lisa, they're brilliant. I use them for the sweet peas as well. The sweet peas are brilliant in those. PA goes to some absolutely gorgeous places. PA, when are we going back to see the monkeys? I love those monkeys. I know you don't, but hey, love to see them again. Yeah, and I've been clearing out one of my plots. Hello, Sam. I used weed matting to cover the whole bed, and I make holes in it where the plants are going to go. So I've been clearing that out because the mint are taking it over and gone a bit wild. I've had some leeks bolt. It's no good when you leek bolts on you. I've already lost 3 leeks from them bolting. So I've had to pull those. Pizza. But yeah, well, that is me pretty much done. Need to go and get a cup of coffee, and if that rain carries on, it gets me out of doing that other plot, because those squash and the rest of the onions really need to get replanted. Hang on, I'll take you off the holder a minute. There. I'll come outside for a sneaky 5 minute before I go. Hey boys. Sam's got an old bone. That's not yours. Sam is terrible for pinching stuff. Now these little balls you could attach to each other. They've got like tiny little hooks in them and make pictures and things like that. But teenager and a mate spent half the time chucking them in each other's hair. So yeah, Jack, he's just turned 4, and big man Sam, the naughty one, he's 6, and I'm hating that his chin's gone grey, although you can't see it while he's chewing that bone. Hey Jack. Jack is constantly got a tennis ball, and that's what he does all day. Beth, I found a key, and when teenager's not home, I'm having to lock a door, because the dogs can open a door and they go and trash it and sleep on a bed, and she moans at them. So I found a key that actually fits it. Sam is the sweetest natured dog, aren't you, Sam? Even though you're eating a manky old bone. That was my attempt at making bone broth and it didn't go very well, so the dog's got the bones. Hey, son. And Jack, just happy with the ball. Cheep Cheep over there was sat on that roof yesterday. Why he went for the roof, I've got no idea. You alright, Jello? Hey, Jack. What's on? He hurt his foot at the weekend from running up the steps. He throws himself up those steps and he'd caught his toenail, hurt his toenail. So it's been banned. That'll keep you busy, Rustic. I'm on there. My days have totally changed until little one gets back to fighting fit and back to school full time. Hey, Jack. What's on? They'll definitely keep you busy, Rustic. Do you know what? He gets that excited, he starts shaking, waiting for you to kick it. Hi, Betty, you okay? Thank you for coming. Betty, there's your dog. Sam, that bone's minging. Ooh, and look else what I have. Yes, I know the grass needs cut again. I only cut it a few days ago. Been weeding out my strawberries, but I have lots of strawberries on. The rabbits and the mice haven't had them yet. I've got these electrician's ducts. These are usually used for hiding pipes and putting wires in houses. And they're nice and bendy, so I stick them in the ground and I use netting like this to keep the birds out and just lay it over the top and anchor it into the ground. But I need to work out how to stop mice getting in. There's one in particular, a little arsehole, that comes and it pinches the strawberries when they're still green and it hides them against these banks here, and it doesn't eat them until they go red. It stores them. So I don't particularly want to put poison down because obviously it's fruit that we're going to eat. But that little mouse cost me a lot of my strawberry patch last year. I'm hoping that it's popped its clogs over winter and it's not taught any relatives. Morning, Andy, you alright? Andy, I can't give you a spanner yet because I'm on the YouTube app itself and the other phone's died that I was using to read the chat. But I will do next time you're in. I'm not happy with it, Beth. It took nearly about maybe 2/3 of my strawberries last year. I thought, what is it doing? And it was piling them against that wall because these walls weren't here. There was a bank ground just below those plants at the back there, but I brought it forward and that turned into a strawberry patch. I mean, it's not a little strawberry patch either, and it was nicking them all and piling them. So I kept an eye on them thinking, what is it doing with those green strawberries? And sure enough, as soon as they started going red, it was eating them. So I didn't have any joy there whatsoever. If Signal will let me, and we'll go down here. Jack. Hopefully the internet won't die on me. I've got roses starting to come out. Oh, there's a rose. Little rock rose. Look at the size of that bumblebee. We'll get some huge bumblebees. Oh, I want ducks. And because there's a video on YouTube, the chicken that thinks it's a duck, and that little chicken walks like a duck. Cheap Cheap could have been that chicken. I think he would do it. Hey Leica, how you doing? You right, Secret Blackburn? Judy May Collins, hello, wonderful lady. Woman Outdoors. It's all. Is it early for you all? I'll try and be brave and come a bit further across. If anyone knows what this plant is, let me know. It was growing on the front and I've never seen one before. Its stems are hairy as its new leaves are. Like how I'm good, I'm just doing some gardening. Just ignore. I decided to burn some garden rubbish where it was on site rather than move it, and it kind of got a bit out of control, so, but naturally it'll be fine. But this thing, I've got no idea what it is, but I do really like it. Sniper, my friend, if you're not subbed to Sniper, go over to Snipers. Oh no, like rest up. But yeah, no idea what that is. It just appeared on the front of the garden. This, again, got no idea what that one is. This silver plant I love. That was growing up behind the bushes there, so I moved it down where it could be seen. JJ May, that's Jack. Sam, here. Leafy bone. Oh, my lilies, I need to do some weeding. I've got lots of different lilies and my different lupins, foxgloves. I've got volunteer foxgloves everywhere. This is a money plant. And I had one growing right next to the house, and I decided to transplant it up on to that bank. And I spent hours digging its roots out really, really carefully. And then I had to go on the school run. And someone else went to do it for me, and they knackered the roots and I lost it, so I had to get a new one because I love them. Secret Blackburn is sub, he's brilliant. He goes out on wanders and he finds some beautiful places. Absolutely gorgeous. He's a good bloke. Hey, but Jack, stop it with that ball. Listen. So much grass cutting to do. That corner is my wildlife corner. So that just gets left alone. I might trim some of the grass back around where I know I've got flowers in. But the rabbits love it and the birds love it. They eat all the plants. This thing is good for birds. It's called a Himalayan pheasantberry. It's a pheasantberry plant. And these are flower stamens. And each one has 4 or 5 berries on each of these, so, and they can get twice as long as that, and the wild birds go crazy on them eating those. Yeah, pizza, I love it. It's my sanctuary. This thing is weird. This is, what is it, a hazel, I think. And it grows like a corkscrew. It grows all wonky. It's meant to look like that. It does look like it's broken, but it's not. Yeah, it's hazel. And you get the catkins on it. I've got a bigger one at the top. But I love all these weird things. Like those toothache plants. Beth, I only see comments for a second, but I'm clocking them. I'm coming back in here for a minute because the rain's starting again. Oh, and there's my very little far behind tomatoes. Yeah, they're the toothache plants. might be good for, I don't know what they taste like, but they're going to be really good for you. So it's a lot of work due to me, but I love it. It's my thing. Sam, put that down. Leave it. Get it here. Here. Give that here. Leave it. See what I mean? Pinching kids' toys. And he brings them outside because he has to carry something. Yes, you. Leave the toys alone. Go back to chewing your bone. I'm ignoring the grass down behind the trampoline. That one's bad. I need to cut that one. Oh, they definitely help. Sam likes to dig holes, so he does some gardening for me. He digs holes looking for mice. Jack takes out weeds, running around like a madman, chasing balls. Poof, I got a spider. Can you see it? A little spider. Beth, I broke it. I need to go and get it fixed. Like the deck underneath it that spins with the blade. I kind of ran over a metal staple gun that I didn't see. And it got a bit stuck, and the belt, the rubber belt, like a timing belt, that whirs around and powers it, kind of set on fire. So I had to put out the fire on that. And it does cut, but it's not cutting too well. So it needs to go off and get repaired. Then ride-ons are a pain in the backside. But yeah, I'd ran over the metal stapler and thought out of it because it flew out in pieces. I thought, oh, champion. And then as I got further along, like behind those bushes, I kind of looked down and there was a little bit of smoke coming out of the deck where the blades are. So I had to leg it to the little shed and get a bucket of water and put it out. But yeah, in my defence, I didn't see the thing. I've looked at, surely I should be able to replace that belt myself, but with it being right under the machine, I think you need it jacked up to get to it. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that, because no, my luck, I'll try and put it on bricks and it'll all go wrong with me underneath it. Sod off with the ball. Hi, good citizen, you okay? There's Jack's old manky ball that he keeps finding. He has balls hidden everywhere. Normally Sam's got plant pots, but he's happy with that bone and the little one's toys for now. Aren't you, son? Surprised that Jack's not gone in, he doesn't like rain. Hey, son. Ugh, look at that ball. Ugh. That's minging. That one's all covered in manky foamy stuff. It's not right. No, those balls aren't very good, Peter. Not that he cares. Do you, son? He's Houdini. I spent a good week along that side of the garden, all the way down and on the front, putting this really heavy duty mesh, small holes in it, stapling it onto the fence that was there, because I would find him in the next door neighbour's lawn, who cuts his grass every day, squatting in the middle, and I was having heebie-jeebies that they were going to complain about him. Bye, Andy, thanks for coming in. I'll give you a spanner next time I'm on. But then he was chewing holes for it. So then I got chicken wire, cut a roll in half, which ended up with lots of scars. Spent another week. And then we found out that he was jumping over like a gazelle instead. But he hasn't done it for a long time, so I'm hoping, touch wood, that's him stopping being Houdini. And it's just Sam that's the naughty one. He broke into the kitchen overnight from the utility room. I shut the kitchen up every night so he can't get in anymore. But he's found out that if he bumps into the utility room door, it'll bounce open, and he knows he can get through the kitchen from the utility. So he nicked, there was a butter wrapper empty this morning. Butters is probably one of his favourite things, although he does like a good chocolate bar or bag of Heroes. He's stolen full football sized gammon joints before. He's had a few of those. He's just sneaky as a little ninja. Aren't you, son? He's not bad. It's him, the older one. But luckily, he hasn't taught him the ways to sneak around and get in rooms that he shouldn't be in to pinch stuff. And he was opening Christmas presents this year to get the chocolate out of them. He had a box of chocolate willies that teenager had bought as a Secret Santa present. They were on sticks. There was only one left that only had a single tooth holing out the box, so she had to give it to the girl and explain the dog had ate a Secret Santa present. But chocolate's meant to be really toxic to dogs, so not to him, he's immune. Alright, Beth, well, I'm going to have to get off anyway. I need a cuppa before I go to the school to pick little one up from a club, because she's got a boccia.